Okay, I'm waiting for Tanya, y'all. Okay, I'm waiting for Tanya, y'all. Okay. Let me see. Try it again. My hand slipped. Okay. Okay. Try it again. My hand slipped. When I say I went out this morning, Alexis. When I say it's all over the place, you couldn't even see me, but you can hear her, which was hard for me. Okay, and if they try today, if they try right now, I got backup. Okay.
Look, we having all kinds of technical difficulties here.
All sorts of stuff. Turn your phone up, cause I can hear you, but not too loud.
Let me turn my mic up.
Turn your mic up. Okay. Cause they gonna get this business today.
You got that right.
Right, go to my TikTok. My TikTok acting crazy too.
Look, the devil don't want the truth out. Look, I see what he doing. He don't want the truth out. He don't want the truth out, but that's okay. It's all right.
Want that truth out. They don't want it out, and it's okay, because it's coming anyway.
You got that right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got this. Let me get all my paperwork. Look.
You wasn't playing.
I was playing. I even lit me some sage.
Lord have mercy. She said, I need some peace in the house. I need some incense.
With all this, I'm telling you. Let me turn this off. Now, I'm live streaming from TikTok right now. And this is the Thursday edition of Black Rose Garden Community TV, hosted by Black Rose and attorney Tanya Sweat. Today, hello. Today, we're going to be speaking on the budget. Okay, as you can see, that's in the caption. We're going to talk about the budget in Prince George's County, a 40-page mess. Okay, we're going to talk about the homelessness issues that's going on in the state of Maryland in a whole. And we're also going to talk about this. What I say? What else? Because it was a lot of stuff on the agenda today.
I know. Look, there's a whole lot of stuff. I don't even remember though.
Where that money that was supposed to went into the schools.
Look, everybody's favorite topic, the MGM money.
To Prince George's County. We're going to talk about where that money actually went. Okay.
Right. Right.
Right.
Whew.
Uh,
There's some deep topics right there, sister. Deep topics.
yes. So you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
I'm 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 here for attorney's advice. I need for somebody to explain this situation to me like I'm a 2-year-old.
Okay. First and foremost, I'm gonna start off with this one. A budget is a plan. It's a plan. Um, in the government, we like to think about budgets as being law, and generally they are, because budgets are approved at the federal level by the General Assembly. I'm sorry, at the federal level by the Congress, the House of Representatives, and the Senate. At the federal level, budgets are approved that way. At the state
Mhm.
level, it's approved by the General Assembly. And then at the local level, the budget is approved by the county council. Their plans, their projections, they are, because we're looking forward in time. And so what the budget does is it tells you in the government how our government officials are going to spend our tax dollars. This is how we plan to spend this money. Excuse me. Budgets will change. At the federal level, there are laws in place that make it harder to change the federal budget. There's this thing called the Anti-Deficiency Act in federal law, and the Anti-Deficiency Act basically says you must spend the money at the time and for the purpose intended by the Congress. So the president just can't, by himself, make these wide sweeping changes in how federal tax dollars are spent. That he doesn't have that authority. And if someone violates the Anti-Deficiency Act, and when I say someone, I mean any person. It could be the president, the vice president. It could be a cabinet member. It could even be a government employee. If you spend government money in a way that was not approved by the Congress, there's jail time and potential fines associated with your violations of that law. It's a crime. That's under the federal law. State and local laws are not necessarily that restrictive. And in local jurisdictions, a lot of times, the executive, the chief executive, in case of Prince George's County, the county executive would have authority to make adjustments in that budget. And some of those adjustments can be made without consulting the county council. And to understand what the authority is as it relates to budgeting, you have to go back, in the case of Prince George's County, you got to go back to the code of ordinances for the county. And in the code of ordinances, the county council tells you this is how we budget, this is who has the authority to spend the money, obligate the money, appropriate the money, and this is how we set things up. There are also some limitations and restrictions in our code of ordinances that were voted in by the people.
Right.
So the people have also placed restrictions and limitations in some instances on the county budget. And so when you say it's a mess, yeah, it's a little bit of a mess. Some of it because of laws that have been voted in by the people, and the people don't want to change those laws. And then it's a mess because it's a plan. It's a pretty plan. It looks really good. My concern right now with what we have before us is we don't know what the county is actually spending and where the money is actually going. When you look at the 40-page document that you have the budget for 2023, fiscal year 2023, which is the current year, the current fiscal year. In Maryland, the fiscal year runs from July the 1st to June the 30th. So we're now currently in fiscal year 2023. We'll start fiscal year 2024, July 1st of 2023.
Right.
So we have the budget for the current fiscal year. We have estimates of what's been spent in the current fiscal year. And then we have a proposed budget for the fiscal year 2024. And we have actual funding of what was collected and spent for fiscal year 2022. Now, if you look very closely, because everybody's focused right now on the plan for spending as of July 1st of this year. But I want everybody to take a look at what was actually spent in 2022. Take a look at what is now being proposed, or what was proposed for 2023, and what has already been spent according to the estimates for fiscal year 2023. We're already over budget on some things this fiscal year. This fiscal year, what's going on? And if we're already over budget, where is that money coming from?
Right.
Because the taxpayers apparently didn't give it because the revenue's not there to cover it. So how are we paying for this stuff? That's not explained in that 40-page document. And nobody's talking about that. That's the mess. That's the mess. Everybody's excited because of that number, 82%. Whoop-de-damn-do. The 82% for education and public safety, the police department, in essence. We hear that every single year during budget time. The bulk of the county's budget goes to education and police. The bulk of the county budget goes to education and police. It goes to the schools and public safety. That's history. And believe it or not, for many jurisdictions, that is the case. My question is, what are we getting for our money?
Exactly.
Because we already know that our students are not performing. The state's report card just came out. Prince George's County went down, not up. So what are we doing with the money that's going to our school system? What I'm telling you is we're not spending it effectively because something's broken. The money's there, but we're not producing. Why is that? Nobody can answer that question. Police services. The money's there, but the crime's still going up.
Right.
Our police department's still short on manning. What's going on? What's the problem? We keep throwing the money at it, but it's not making it better. So we got to start looking at the illness itself, not just the symptoms. The illness itself, diagnose what that problem is, and then effectively spend the money to address what's wrong in our local government. We have to do that. But we're paying people a lot of money. Somebody's getting a lot of money, but they're not performing at the level we want them to.
Right. My
And,
problem
and I tell everybody, when you look at the budget, you know who's getting hurt? The children, the seniors, and the poor people.
And the poor people, yeah. I was looking at this thing, and it made me sick to the stomach on the very first couple of pages. And this is the thing, when they're explaining all of this stuff to us and trying to, try to outthink us or think that they can just pull over our eyes, they get to saying stuff like comparing shit to other cities and stuff like they did with DC. Yes, we know that DC has $19.5 billion budget. We know that. We know that also DC has 700,000 residents. Now, we have Prince George's County, right?
Yep.
We have what, $3.5 billion budget with almost 1 million people.
Yeah, give or take. And you want to say, what's the problem? Right. Couple things. I can tell you the differences. You can't compare the two. First thing, let's look at sales tax in the district. It is a lot higher than sales tax in the state of Maryland. I think sales tax in the district is close to 10% on the dollar.
Right.
And a lot of the revenue from the district comes from that sales tax. And not only does that sales tax come from its residents, you got to remember, the District of Columbia is I won't call it a resort, but they get a lot of visitors all year long because it's the nation's capital. So the district has the benefit of being a place that everybody wants to visit, whether it be for business, leisure, pleasure, you name it, educational. So we're always having visitors into the district, and so that helps them with their sales tax income because they're not relying solely on the 700,000 people who live there to make up that 10% on the dollar. Number one. Number two, the District of Columbia doesn't have to share the state income tax with anybody else. In Maryland, the Maryland state sales tax right now is 6% on the dollar. That state sales tax is spread amongst 27 different counties, and they also have to share some of that money with incorporated municipalities. So that money has to go a lot farther than just Prince George's County. The county only gets a portion of the sales tax that comes in from visits, vacationing, that kind of stuff. The bulk of the sales tax income that Prince George's County honestly can rely upon falls back on the citizenship. And while Maryland tries to do a lot of what we call marketing in the tourism industry, the bulk of the tourism in the state of Maryland is where? Ocean City.
Right.
At the beach. So arguably, Maryland doesn't get the number of visitors every year that you see in the District of Columbia. So the sales tax won because of the difference in the amount, 10 versus 6, and then the number of people you have adding to your commercial spending, adding to your commerce in the state is not at the same level. So that is a negative or a con, if you will, when you start looking at the Prince George's County budget. The other problem we have in Prince George's County is the state income tax. Similar to DC has a state income tax too, but again, the district has 700,000 residents, and the district did something years ago that helps them when it comes to their state income tax. The majority of district government employees live in the district. So the taxes earned on the wages and the salaries of DC residents stays in DC. When you look at Prince George's County, a large number, I think the last number I saw was about 60% of the working adults in Prince George's County work outside of the county. Now, there are interstate agreements with Virginia, the District of Columbia, because of the three-state region. Even though DC is not a state, there are agreements about income taxes. So DC doesn't charge Maryland residents state income tax, even though you work in the DC, in the federal government. That money still comes back to the state of Maryland. If you work in Virginia for a private company and you live in Maryland, there's an agreement you don't have to file Virginia state income taxes as an out-of-state resident. So Virginia doesn't tax your money. Your money comes back to Maryland as a resident. One of the big problems with Prince George's County is we also hire a lot of people from outside of our county to work in our county.
Mm-hmm.
So that money then goes back to their home counties because Maryland is taxing the money and the state income tax goes back to your county of residence.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So while Maryland gets to collect the state income taxes on people who live in Prince George's County and work in Virginia, live in Prince George's County and work in D.C., live in Prince George's County but work in Delaware, and I also think there's an interstate agreement with Pennsylvania, Maryland still collects that state income taxes on those employees. But in Prince George's County, when you look at the large number of our local government employees who live in other counties, that money goes back to Calvert, Charles, St. Mary's, Montgomery, and other counties. So what I would like to see is the net effect. And when I say the net effect, what I want to know is what is the difference in the state income tax on the money that we collect from those who live here but don't work here versus those who work here but don't live here.
That don't live here, exactly. Mm-hmm.
That hurts us. Now, am I proposing that we only hire Prince Georgians? No, that's not what I'm saying, because let's just be honest. We don't have enough residents in the county qualified to do all the jobs that we need done. But that's something we need to think about, especially when we start looking at our education system, when we start looking at how we train our workforce. When we look at apprenticeships that we have here in the county, we have a number of apprenticeships in the county for trade. We do. We don't have a lot of our youth in those apprenticeships, unfortunately.
Yes, they have taken the trade programs from schools and Job Corps centers. Remember, that's where we had a lot of our, got a lot of our trade education from. From our Job Corps centers. They had some in the schools, the alternative learning environments who offered, trade. And they have taken it all away. They have taken it all away. I mean, I myself came from Job Corps. You know what I'm saying? I came from Job Corps. I took advantage of, all they gave me, all they, offered me. Because I got a lot from there. I was able to finish 3 trades, and have a roof over my head. It wasn't like I was coming out of a situation. My mother saved my life. And this
and this is the other thing. You were getting paid while you were in those programs too, weren't you?
Yes, we were getting paid.
Yep,
we were getting paid. It gave us, they started us off with $10 when we were what we had to look forward to.
That's the thing people miss out when you talk about trade programs.
Schools in the trade, job placement programs, they have even limited the job placement programs.
And I talk to parents about that all the time. No, every child is not going to go to college. We should not be pushing every child to go to college. There are trade and industry opportunities where our young people can learn job skills and get paid while they're learning. Apprenticeships are beautiful opportunities for that. And I will tell you, because I saw it with my own eyes. When you go to some of these apprenticeship sites, the majority of the apprentices in the county of Prince George's do not live here. So the young people are getting trained to do industry jobs, and they're taking that money back someplace else. Howard County, Montgomery County, Baltimore County, Anne Arundel County. I'm telling you what I saw with my own eyes, what I know for myself, not what I heard. The majority of our young people here in Prince George's County are not being accepted into these apprenticeship programs, so they're not getting paid. And again, the county is not getting that state income tax. So it's not just our local government employees and the numbers there, but it's also our training programs that are housed in the county. Housed in the county. They are run by people who do not live in the county, training people who do not live in the county. So it makes a difference in the county's budget. So those are revenue sources that are on the table. That's money left on the table. That's what I'm telling you. When you look at the budget, that 40-page document does not explain that to anybody.
No, it does not. It don't. All it did was piss me off. Okay, all it did. It pissed me off, this 40-page document. And the greeting, the letter that was attached to the 40-page document, I mean, I should have just read that and knew that it was going to be some nonsense before I even went to the 40-page document. This right here, them with the bull crap.
Yep. And look, I've had government officials ask me to advocate for the thing called the prevailing wage. For those of you in industry, you know what that is. That's not minimum wage.
No.
Okay? And I have heartburn advocating that construction workers working in the county should get the prevailing wage when I know those construction jobs are not held by people who live in this county.
No, it's not.
So
that's
as
just like
advocate for that, what I'm doing is saying, pay these people the money so they can take it out of my home county. I got a problem with that. I support labor. I support the prevailing wage. Yes, you should get paid the money that is demanded for the skills that you have. Yes, you should get paid at the level reflected for your industry. But we need that money here in our community because we got work to do and it costs something to do it. So I tell people when I ran for county exec, did I get the labor union's endorsement? Heck no, I didn't, and I understood why. I am not against labor. I am not against unions, but I'm for my people. And my people are not getting the benefit of what labor unions offer right now in Prince George's County. And by demanding that more of my people get those benefits, I knew I was hurting myself, but I have to be true to myself and I have to tell the truth about what's really happening.
Right. Right.
So that, again, revenue that's lost is on the table. We're not getting it. Because our elected officials are not demanding that the citizens of this county get the benefit of those workforce development programs. Period. Period. Full stop.
It's like everything, you know, all of the cuts that they are making out in the county, every last one of those cuts that they're making out in the county, that they're making in different states is affecting people of color. It's affecting people of color. It's affecting, they just cut food stamps, okay?
Right.
And they telling people barefaced lies, talking about, oh, the economy is back up. And we all know it might be back up, but who is it back up for?
Right.
Who is it back up for? Because it sure is not back up for people who are facing issues, like our low income, like our seniors. I was saying this morning that I do food distribution every Sunday, and I'm taking boxes of food to people's jobs out in Prince George's County. So I'm going to somebody's job where they have been working, taking boxes of food.
Wow. Wow.
I'm hearing my seniors say to me, they didn't cut my food stamps down to $16. Because it's like when they give them little incentives, them little raises and stuff, right? They giving them little raises on their Social Security, disability, and things of that nature. They're taking away from everything else.
Well, and this is the kicker. You talk about the SNAP program benefits. Rose, I got some bad news for you on that one, babe. When the federal government increased the SNAP benefits for families during COVID, in the state of Maryland, and I'm not telling you this because I'm guessing, assuming, speculating. There's evidence of this. Search it on Google. You're going to find the news reports. The money that came to Maryland was stolen.
You better stop.
So families did not get the SNAP benefits that they were supposed to get. And the president signed a bill, I think within the last 2 weeks, to reimburse those families who should have gotten that money and did not get it for 2 years, because they know, the federal government knows the money was stolen. The money is supposed to be returned to those families who were harmed by the theft.
Oh my God.
Look it up. Go to Google. Ask Google about them SNAP benefits. There were 2 states. Maryland was one.
Oh my God.
And so now COVID is over. The government has said we're not paying those extra benefits, but those families who didn't get the extra benefits for 2 years already because the money was stolen, they're getting hit twice. They didn't get the extra they were supposed to get, and then the benefits were decreased.
I know somebody that got a letter, and it was from the state of Maryland, and it was telling them that, you know, if they don't use their food stamp benefit, that they were going to be terminated from the food stamps, but the whole goddamn time, they wasn't even receiving food stamp benefits.
Bingo! That was a part of the theft. Yes, ma'am. Bingo! That was it.
Oh my God.
Yes, ma'am. Right here at home in Maryland, that's what happened. You got it. So
those people, they give people letters talking about something, they only receiving $20 worth of food stamps. You know, mine got cut off. I'm being real. Oh my God. So how does a family know that they are affected by that situation?
They need to reach out to certain social services ASAP and ask the question. They're supposed to be able to go online. You can log into your SNAP benefit account, and you should have gotten a message from social services about that. Yep.
Because somebody just told me that they received a letter, and the letter said that they were supposed to be, I guess they thought that they was getting all of these food stamps, which they probably was, because I was in shock to hear that they had even been cut off. But to find out, yeah, they got a letter, and it was saying that, you know, you have to use these SNAP benefits that's on your card. Okay? So it ain't nothing been on that card since Jesus was a baby. Okay? But telling these people that they got to use their SNAP benefits that's on their card, or they're going to take them away from them. That's I swear to God.
They need to make that phone. They need to call their office and say, I never got my benefits. What am I spending? Yes. They need to file their claim so that they get that money back.
Oh my God. Ooh, Tanya.
I'm sorry to have to deliver the bad news, but it happened right here in Maryland.
Right here in Maryland, they're just doing things, like I said, this underhanded stuff. I was saying earlier, we might not have been able to get all of those snakes and disgusting people out of here, but God is going to expose some things, just like he has been doing.
Mm-hmm.
God is expose some things, and what we do with that information is up to us.
Yep.
We be knowing all of this stuff that's going on, but yet we don't do anything to try to protect ourselves from this type of stuff going on. And a lot of people don't even, and I can't say everybody, because some people, just imagine how many seniors,
Mm-hmm.
these same people that I'm taking food to on Sundays, I'm taking it to their jobs and stuff.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, one of them is a senior.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is a senior, probably just came out of retirement and had to go back to work.
Right.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
I heard that they had some type of forum or something last night that nobody got the memo for, okay? Because trust me and believe me, I ain't get the memo, okay? I'm on the email list and the mailing list and everything, and I still ain't get the memo.
Look, they have so many meetings in this county in a night. I have to clone myself 2 or 3 times to make them to get to all of them. But there were some town hall discussions about the budget, of course. I didn't get to go to any of those, but I went to some other meetings where they were talking about the money, and what I heard, let me tell you, turned my stomach. Those of us who live in Southern Prince George's County, we know about the local development council.
Mm-hmm.
It was born out of the introduction of the MGM into our community. And one of the big things that the local development council does is they give out what they call local impact grants.
Mm-hmm.
When the state of Maryland agreed to allow casinos in, one of the requirements is the casinos have to invest back into the community.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows about the school system lockbox. That was the big thing during the last gubernatorial administration, and where the money was going for the education in the lockbox. But what most people don't realize is not only does the state of Maryland require the casinos to give money to the state for education, the casinos also have to support their local communities. So in Prince George's County, there is a 6-mile area around MGM.
Hold up. I'm up here talking about something. When I already know that they lied to us and said, I already know they lied to us and said that, and I'm going to let you finish after, because they told us that if we allow these casinos to come here, which a lot of us, I got the memo for that meeting. And you know what I'm saying? I got the memo for that meeting, and I went and telling us, oh, the money is going to go to the schools and this, that, and the fighting crime and all this other crap. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in Prince George's County, there is a 6-mile radius around MGM. And there are local impact grants that are given out each fiscal year to nonprofits and charitable organizations in the county who provide services within that 6-mile radius. Now, before I get to the money thing, let me tell you, I laugh about the 6-mile radius around the MGM, because guess what? That 6-mile radius extends over across the Potomac into Virginia. Are you serious? Really? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
That's why we got our FBI facility and we didn't get it, okay? Because it's all in the 6-mile radius.
Yeah. I don't know who threw this I don't know who came up with this map right here. But anyway, yeah. So we got that thing going on. But in addition to that thing, the local development council every year, right now, they're in application period for the FY23 local impact grant. If you want to apply, the application period closes tomorrow at 5 p.m. Get your application in. You don't have a lot of time. But this is the tricky part. The LDC met last night, and this is what shocked everybody on the Zoom call. And I'm waiting for this thing to be posted on YouTube. And after I open my big mouth today, they might not put it out there. But y'all need to write in under the Public Information Act and ask for the recording of the meeting because it was recorded. But at the meeting last night, they reported that an organization in the county, People for Change, got $100,000 of the local impact grant money last year. Now, People for Change is in Largo.
Shut my mouth wide open, girl.
And when you go to People for Change's website, they advertise themselves as a nonprofit, a consulting service, and they support other nonprofits and small businesses. They have 300 members, and I don't know who all the members are, but I hope 50% of those members are in Southern Prince George's County, because they got $100,000 from the LDC out of MGM money last year. The other thing the local development council reported is that the police department got a large portion of the MGM money that came to the county. And if you look at the budget for next year, there's an increase in the police department's budget, and the police officers are getting a raise. Now, please do not misunderstand me. I appreciate every member of the Prince George's County Police Department who are out there doing the right thing to protect and serve their community. And yes, you do deserve a raise. What I'm trying to figure out is, why was the grant money taken that was supposed to support the community surrounding the MGM and given to the police department?
Exactly. That's
my question. I got no answers, but that was reported in the meeting last night. The other thing that was reported in the local development council meeting last night was the fact that some of the money that's supposed to go to local impact grants went overseas. Yeah. Let me tell you. Y'all know how we had the meetings after the meetings? My phone blew up last night. Blew up after the meeting. I got more phone calls after that LDC meeting than I have ever gotten in the 13 years I've been living in Prince George's County. When I tell you, people are shocked about what they heard last night. I still was getting calls today. People are shocked about what they're hearing about this money that's supposed to be reserved for those in Southern Prince George's County who live within that 6-mile radius. It went overseas. The LDC also reported that last year they gave out 39 grants, and as of the meeting last night, they had only gotten 17 reports back on what was done with the money.
And when you talk about a 6-mile radius, you talking about places like Oxon Hill, Fort Washington,
yes,
and the crime out there in Oxon Hill, which is so close to the DC line, is facing so many different challenges till it don't make no sense. So to know that they had money, but they gave it to that was intended for people 6 miles outside of the casino, which they giving it to organizations that's not doing anything with it.
Not that we know of, to help the people who live within that circle. Because what you don't have to have an office within the 6 mile radius to get the money, but you have to be servicing the people who live within that 6 mile radius. And the money that was identified last night, the way the information was shared, it was intentional. And it was because the local development council wanted the community to know that the money is not supporting the people who are supposed to get the benefit of the money. That was clear. That was clear to me. The other thing,
y'all, she'll be back, okay? Because trust me, this has been going on all morning, okay? I have been trying to do lives all morning. I just did a live with the mother of Jalen Jones. It was a mess, okay? I'm talking about where you couldn't even see me, but you could hear her and you could see her and get, the information. But it's just like, every time we get to talking about this type of stuff, and I'm going to tell you something, like, I'm not afraid to bring it to you. And you would know yourselves, and I'm talking about registered voters. I'm talking about y'all. Y'all would know what was going on yourselves if you were more, you were more involved. Let me see what Tanya's saying. Yeah, you have to rejoin, Tanya, because I don't know what happened.
I'm back. I'm sorry. Look, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but my big head brother called me, and
That happened when somebody called.
I forgot to tell it to block all my calls, and my family can get through even though my phone is on Do Not Disturb. So my brother called me. That cut me off. But sorry about that, y'all. But what I was saying was, the LDC wanted us to know, this is what's happening with the money. You're not getting the services you're supposed to be getting. And I'm now wondering, even though we're applying for money for the current fiscal year, is the money really there? Do they have the money to give it out to the community now? So I guess we'll see by the summer which nonprofits get their grants this year or not. But the application period is open. And it's possible that the LDC was giving us a warning last night. Y'all applying, but we might not have it to give it. So there we are.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
there we are. I mean, so when you look at the budget, like I said, when I looked at this budget, one of the first things that jumped off the page at me was, this is what the fiscal year 23 budget is. This is what they're estimating, and we done spent more money than we got. Because when I look, and it's on my screen, for instance, fiscal year 2023, the revenues, the estimated revenues as of the printing of this document was supposed to be $4.3 billion, okay? The estimate. We've already spent that $4.3 billion, and we've overspent it by about $20 million.
Good God Almighty.
And the fiscal year doesn't end until June 30th. We just in the middle of March. Where we gonna make up the difference? And I need y'all to know something. State law requires that everybody have a balanced budget. The budget for 2023 is not going to balance because we already in the red. Already in the red according to what was put out in the public view yesterday. That's for this current fiscal year. And now we planning on money for next fiscal year. You can't run no work like that.
More money from poor people, because that's the only place that they seen that they siphon the money from. Our programs, our schools, and everything else. Lines talking about they putting it here, putting it there, but really, not really doing anything with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like a tale of two cities out here too. It's the haves and the have-nots.
Right.
That same shit that they do in DC, they do it out here too with the clicks, okay? Because everybody with the click is going to get some housing. They're going to get some grant money. They're going to get some funding. But the people that ain't with the click, they shit out of luck.
And that's not how government is supposed to work. Government is supposed to be for everybody. I jokingly tell my friends, if my family goes bust today, I got no shame. I'm going right on down to social services. I'm going to apply for food stamps. I'm going to ask for some welfare because I've been paying my taxes as a good citizen ought to do ever since I started working at the age of 18. I need help. That's what the government is for. It's supposed to be the social safety net. I don't need it right now, but I might need it one day. I look at this budget and it's telling me my government's not there for me right now. My government don't have the money for me right now. So I'm praying to my almighty God that my house don't go belly up and go bust. Because if we go bust, we in trouble. If we've spent the revenues for 2023, $4.259 billion, and the estimated spending is 4.271. That's just the general fund. When you look at the enterprise funds, the estimate was 191 or $192 million estimated revenue for this year. But the enterprise funds have already been spent at a level of 223, almost $224 million. We are spending more money than we're taking in. How do you make the government work when you do that? And this is not the federal government. We don't do deficit spending at the local level. And I'm sorry, I can't make this pretty. There's no way to make this pretty, because if I make this pretty for us, I'm basically lying to us.
Lying to us, exactly. I'm just in shock on you, because like I said, that's why I look to people like yourself who's going to give me the ugly truth of it, who's going to give our listening audience the ugly truth of it, because they need to hear it, not because we're trying to, all this cause confusion. Yeah, we're trying to cause some confusion. We're trying to wake y'all the hell up.
Right. And if you ask me and if you want to know where I get these numbers from, it's that 40-page document Rose held up at the beginning of the broadcast. It's on page 12.
I'll hold it up one more time for you.
Go to page 12.
So you can see.
Go to page 12. Yeah. In the top corner, it said the written word said page 4. Page 4. But if you count the pages, literally it's page 12. Page 4, if you read in the top corner. And in the bottom of that page 4, it says FY 2024 proposed budget, all funds summary.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I got those numbers from. I ain't making this up, y'all. I'm reading what they put out there.
And here's all of the people.
She showed the picture with the page with the pictures.
Here they go, y'all. Here they go. Here they go. Right here. Here they go. One more look. Here they go. Here all of them go.
And I tell every taxpaying citizen who had the right to vote in Prince George's County, if you got a concern, you need to send a letter to them people and say, how we gonna pay for this? How we do this? The numbers for 2024, the net is zero. That's the budget. That's what it's supposed to look like. You don't make a profit when you work in the government, but you ain't supposed to have no losses either. We got losses coming for 2023. How do we make up the difference? And oh, by the way, where'd the money go? Where's the money?
Yeah. The money that they're talking about, they have already allocated into schools and the police precinct and all this other shit.
Yep.
Somebody need to be held accountable. They need to, you know how when you working on a job and they tell you if you use the company's credit card, you gonna have to bring a receipt.
Look at here. In the government, there's no such thing. Local, state government, there's no such thing as a credit card. You might be able to do that in your house. You might be able to pull out a credit card in your house and borrow the money from Citibank, Visa, Discover, American Express to cover your deficit. You can do that at home. You can borrow that money, pay it back later. In the government, I'm telling you, local, state government. In Maryland, the law says the budget must be balanced. There is no borrowing, with some limited exceptions. And unfortunately, this ain't one of them exceptions. So how we gonna pay the difference? Right now I'm looking at about $100 million short. How we gonna pay the difference? How we gonna do this, y'all? And everybody I talk to who owns a home tell you straight up, we don't need to pay no more property taxes because the property tax is high enough.
They high enough.
And that's a whole nother discussion we don't even want to have.
Here you go right here, because I had it stuck on my head for my thing for my TikTok. I just wanted to show y'all. This is not something that we're making up. And if you go, because I get the emails, like I get the emails, I got the welcoming letter to the bullshit right here. This was the welcoming email to the bullshit right here. See, look, y'all. This was the welcoming letter right here to the bullshit, and I'm explaining in this letter, okay, everybody else, what everybody else going on, DC got $19.5 billion and this, that, and the third, and all of this stuff. What the hell does that have to do with us? You incompetent people.
So in 2023, fiscal year 2023, estimated revenue, $5 billion. Estimated expenses, $5.1 billion. The going out is more than the coming in. We got a problem. I didn't write it. I'm just reading it to you.
Y'all, look, seriously, it's there. It's there. I ran out of ink.
But when you hear the news, all you hear is, 82% of the budget next year is going to education and public safety. That's all you heard in the news. Ain't nobody talking about the fact that we short this year. We ain't got the next year. We already short.
We already short. Jesus Christ.
Girl, look, when you say you wanted to talk about it, I'm like, you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
And
And I hope the new governor is willing to float us a little money. Because the state, Governor Hogan left at what is it, 2.6 some odd $billion surplus. So maybe the state will float us a little couple dollars to help us out. Maybe we can get the hookup. I'm just saying. And oh, by the way, we still taking out, we still doing bonds to build stuff. So that's more debt.
Yeah.
That's more debt in the coming years.
So what does all of this say, Tanya?
We got a problem.
Girl, I want to grab some wine.
Good.
I'm sure I ain't drinking in a minute. Girl,
I'm gonna say it this way. I'm gonna say it this way to you, Rose. If you were in my house and I was sitting down talking to my husband and we were looking at these numbers, I'd be looking at my husband right now with as much love in my eyes as I could muster up. And I tell him, baby, I love you so much. We broke. I'd be looking at Mr. Terry Sweat right now saying, baby, I told you when we got married, I'd live with you in a cardboard box. Baby, I hope you got that box because we need the box right about now. We broke.
And
no, let me just go and break the news to y'all. No, the county can't really raise property taxes because the law says the county can only charge property taxes at a certain level and they can't go above that level. That's the law. And that was put in place by the voters back in the 70s. And when prior county executive Wayne Curry tried to get the voters to change that, the voters said no. Now, granted, that was 30 years ago.
right.
No county executive since Wayne Curry has had the courage to even approach the issue. I'll say this, and I've always said it. The county has to look at its tax structure. We also, and when I talk about the tax structure, I'm not just talking about real property taxes, real estate taxes here. I'm a homeowner too. Trust me, I feel your pain. So I know this is going to hit my pocketbook too when I start talking about the taxes. It hurts my heart to even have to say it. But it's not just real property taxes on homeowners that we got to look at. We also need to go back and look at what we're doing with our commercial tax structure. Our county council needs to revisit the semi-permanent waiver of the impact fees that state law says can be imposed upon developers. County council waived that years ago. So every time we build a new housing development, and there are no roads, no sidewalks, no schools, no mailboxes, no infrastructure to support that new development, the county goes to borrow money to make it happen. State law says that cost can be and should be shared by the developers who want to build these new homes. They're going to make millions of dollars on the homes when they sell them. Anyway, the county needs to revisit that. But the pictures of the people that you showed earlier, they've not even discussed it. They don't even bring it up. That's part of the reason why we're in this bind that we're in. And it won't be long before the county executive and a few others stand up in the news and brag about the county's AAA+ credit rating. Yeah, that credit score might be nice, but that credit score say you got debt and you paying it back. That's what that means.
That's what that means. Exactly. Just like a normal human being. When your credit score go up, it's because you're paying your debt off.
Yeah. You might have a 750 credit score that would allow you to go borrow what you need to go borrow, but that means you borrowing a lot of money and you good enough to pay it on time. And if you borrowing a lot of money, unfortunately, sometimes you're living beyond your means.
Living beyond your means, yeah.
And it's gonna catch,
Yeah.
and it's catching up to Prince George's County right now. You asked me, I had to tell you the truth.
Jesus Christ.
I tell homeowners, especially the people with these new homes, new beautiful homes, you need to look at your tax statement. Oh, I have people tell me, "Where I get that thing in the mail? It said this is not a bill. I don't even open the envelope." You crazy. You crazy. The reason why the envelope has the red letters, "This is not a bill," is because you pay your taxes and your homeowner's insurance every month with your mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Federal law says if you have a mortgage and you're a homeowner, your mortgage lender must have an escrow account to collect taxes and homeowners insurance on a monthly basis. So if you own a house and it has a mortgage, when your tax statement comes out, they can put that big red "This is not a bill" on the outside of that envelope because the bill went to your bank.
Mm-hmm.
Your bank is supposed to be holding the money to send it to the county for you. You need to open that envelope, even though the red letters say "This is not a bill," because you need to understand what the county is charging you for real estate taxes. And what I need you all to understand is not everything on that statement is a real estate tax in the traditional sense. Some of us are paying assessments to help the county pay back the bonds where they borrowed the money to pay the road that you drive on to get in your driveway.
And I think that they take that money other ways too. Like these hidden prices in people's water bills and things.
They are, unfortunately, yes. So what I'm telling you is, in some instances, there are hidden fees on your tax bill. And if you don't read your tax bill, you don't know what those hidden fees are.
Mm-mm-mm.
And no, you didn't vote on that assessment because that assessment was put in place before you bought your house, before the house was built.
Mm-hmm.
And state law allowed that to happen. State law allowed that to happen. And the county our county officials seem to believe that if they build more houses, they create more property tax revenue, which helps the county budget. But what they don't take into account is the cap in the law. You can't ever go above this number. You're stuck. But then you got all these other charges and fees because you borrowed all this money to pay that off. So building more houses is not going to dig us out of this problem with revenue. It's not going to help us. We got to look at what we're leaving on the table. We got to look at our state income tax position. We got to look at how we're training our children to be workers in our economy. We've got to look at the fees that we're charging outsiders who come into the county to do business. We got to look at where we're investing our taxpayer dollars. Who is getting the benefit of that money? And if the people don't stand up and demand it, our elected officials are not going to do it because there are lobbyists and special interests.
It's the question, they come out begging for our votes and everything, but how come they never want to hear our voices?
Better go on down there to that county council meeting, sign up for your 3 minutes and make your speech. They ain't got no choice, and it's on the record. More people need to start screaming loud from the rafters. No more, no more, no more. I applaud the local development council for what they did last night, because that took courage. Because those people are appointed by the county executive. That took courage. Nobody who goes to those meetings knew that the MGM money was going overseas. We didn't know that.
No, we didn't know that. No, we did not know that that MGM money was going overseas. We did not know that. No, we didn't.
We took it for granted that it was being given to nonprofits who were helping the children in Oxon Hill and Temple Hills and Camp Springs just before you get into Andrews Air Force Base. We took for granted that those children in Suitland and Forest Heights were benefiting from that money. We took for granted that the children who live going towards Southern Avenue were getting the benefits of that money. We took it for granted that the babies in Glass Manor were getting help with that money. We took it for granted. And to hear that last night shocked a lot of people. So I have to applaud the local development council for having the courage to put it in the public air space. Because now we can start asking some questions. We can demand real answers. We can look at this budget and say, how are we going to make up about $100 million this year?
Yeah.
And we need to start asking our elected officials in this county, how do we do that? Do not be deceived. I see the papers on the state highways in the county. They resurfacing the state roads. But my county roads still got potholes. Boom, 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 boom. My shocks and struts are still getting beat up on my county roads. How do we resurface our county roads when we short $100 million this year? This year.
And this is not something that just happened. This has been going on for a long time.
Yes.
It's just that it's been exposed.
Yes. Yes. Say it again, Rose.
This has been going on for a long time. It's just now everything is being exposed. They've been lying the whole time, scheming and conniving. That's exactly what I'm saying. Lying, scheming, and conniving the whole time. The whole entire time. And we sitting up here, we giving these people we've been giving y'all the benefit of the doubt since we elected Obama. And I'm just keeping it 100. People sit up here and I got a newfound profound look at Trump now. Seriously. He might have been a jerk, but all he was doing was pointing out what the mess that's been going on behind our backs the whole time.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Rose, and let me tell you, I am nobody's friend of number. I am no friend of 45. Okay.
None of that stuff. But I tell you what, everything that man has said, far as the crime, far as us paying all this money for gas, far as the housing, the taxes, and everything else, everything that man said then came to pass.
Yeah, look, I'm with you. I am no friend of 45, and my husband say all the time, you need to be quiet. You starting to sound like it. Well, the facts are starting to show themselves to me, and I am not his ally. I don't support him. I don't like how he does business, but I have to give some credence to some of the stuff he has said in the public space.
Man, see, that's and a politician either. I mean, he's a businessman, but he's not a politician. And that's the thing that we ain't like, because he wasn't a politician. But the thing about it is, he came in there and he told the truth.
He was was telling us some things that now you have to. I have to step back and go, Wouldn't vote for him, didn't vote for him, but I still have to step back and go, That's all I'm saying. What is really going on when you look at it in black and white, when you see the documents, and I call them facts. The government put that out there. I didn't make this stuff up.
This is a shame. It's a shame before God. So how do we take our power back?
Hey, this is democracy. The ballot box is huge. I'm going to keep telling y'all that. You got to vote. You have to vote. And when you don't believe your voting rights are being protected in any way, shape, or form, you need to make your voice heard. It belongs to you. It's about who we put in office. And we gotta stop the politics of friendship. We gotta stop the politics of popularity. We gotta stop the politics of I went to school with her. We gotta stop the politics of oh, she cute. Because the question of the day is, where did all of that get you?
Where did all of it get you? My God.
And
my
look,
God.
and I'm really gonna hurt some people's feelings now. And I'm unapologetically black. Please don't get me wrong when I say this, but I'm gonna say it. We got to stop the politics of we got to have the first black this.
And the first black that. Exactly. Because what I've learned since 2008 is that all skin folk ain't kin folk. Okay? And see, they've been coming in. They've been coming down the pike ever since they put that black man in power. Okay?
And it's not that I don't want to see black people. Yeah.
In line, conniving, suckers.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's not that I don't want to see us in those positions because I believe we deserve it. We're smart enough to do it. We can handle it. We got the leadership ability. I say be careful about that because the powers that be who don't want us to succeed know that's what we want. My mama used to tell me as a kid, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. And they give what they know we want in a pretty nice little shiny box, and that may not be the best qualified person to do the job. I ain't calling no names. I ain't pointing out nobody. I'm just saying we've got to do our homework before we run to the ballot box because it's the first black, it's the first woman, it's the first this, it's the first that. Because you don't know who's behind that first this, that first that.
That's right. That's right. Because they got somebody putting their lily black asses out there with money to back them, just so that they can push their narratives all over the place. Just so you can actually see what you see, what we got going on right now.
So before you cast that ballot, go pull that campaign finance report and see where that money came from to run that commercial. You might be surprised. You just might be surprised.
Ooh, child. Lord have mercy. Jesus help.
We got to do our homework. We got to go to the ballot box. And then after we go to that ballot box, I don't care whether the person we voted for wins or not. We got to be willing to hold these people accountable. Because the other thing we tend to do is think that because I voted, my job is done. No, your job is not done just because they put that stick on your chest saying you voted.
That's right. It's not. That's what I tell people. I tell people that shit all the time. Your job, participating in the process of voting is not just going to the ballot box.
No. You don't have to go to every county council meeting. You don't have to go to the General Assembly for the whole 90 days. They in session in Annapolis. But what you need to do is you need to be calling their office. You need to be sending them emails. You need to be writing them letters. When you see them rascals in the grocery store, you need to roll up on them and say, hey, I got a question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we cannot be afraid to hold them to what they say out of their mouth. I heard you say, when we gonna get that done?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not asking anybody in this audience, in this community, to do anything I don't do myself. It's on tape. Go to the county council meeting in, I think, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Yes, it was. I went up in that joint and I said, you all said in December that you were the People's Council. Well, the people are here. I am asking you on behalf of the people, do your job. Do your job. Everybody needs to do that. You said when you asked for my vote, you were going to do X, Y, and Z. Do it. And when they don't do it, you need to demand a public answer. Why didn't you do it?
Why didn't you do it? Exactly.
Because we allow our politicians to get away with too much.
Mm-hmm.
They get away with it. And let me tell you something. Once they get away with it one time, they're going to try it again. They get away with it the second time, they're going to do it again. And they've been getting away with this mess for so long now, they know they can lie, bald-faced lie, look you in your face, show they pretty white teeth, shake your hand, shuck and jive, knowing dang good and well when they say what they say, they don't mean it, and they ain't going to follow through. And they can get away with it because you ain't going to say nothing or do nothing about it.
Say or do nothing about it, exactly.
And protesting ain't enough. We can protest since the 50s and the 60s. Protesting ain't enough.
No.
Now we need to start calling them out. I had an elected official from the state level send me a message and tell me we can't embarrass the county. My clapback is this.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. If you do the right thing, sir, you can't be embarrassed. But I am a mother with young children, and I'll do you like I do my kids. When you step out of line, I'm going to gently embarrass you to remind you, you done stepped out of line now.
Out of line, exactly.
And so if the elected officials of Prince George's County have stepped out of line, and me calling them out about stepping out of line is embarrassing to them, ain't my damn fault. They should have done the right thing to start with. Yeah, I had a state elected official, and if he watching, I hope he watching, because he know who he is. And if he come at me again, I'm going to call his damn name. Don't come at me, don't embarrass the county. Give me a break. The county don't have a problem embarrassing other people. The county don't have a problem embarrassing itself.
Nah, the thing about it is, they don't have no problem with embarrassing themselves behind closed doors.
Oh, they do it in public. And we turn a blind eye and a deaf ear like nothing ever happened.
My God, my God.
So you talk about the budget, darling, the budget, it hits all of it. Homelessness, the MGM money, where is it at? It hits all of it today. Social services, the food stamps. What's happening with our kids in the school and why they wilding out and acting crazy? They wilding out because we wilding out as grown folks. They just following the example they got to follow. They're following the leader. They're doing what kids do.
They're doing what kids do. Yeah. They doing exactly what kids do.
Our babies are taking the MCAP right now, today. And when the numbers come out and they're not what we want them to be, Who we gonna point the finger at? Parents are saying, don't blame me. Teachers are saying, don't blame me. The kids run around looking at you like, well, what you want me to do? I did the best I could. Who do we blame? It's all of us. It's all of us.
Yeah.
If you're not doing your part, it's your fault too.
It's your fault. Exactly. It is. It is.
Look, I'm going to hate saying this, but I'm going to say it because it's the truth. When I moved to this area in 1999, the one thing I noticed, because I was living in Virginia then, I'm not going to lie, I lived across the water on the other side of the Wilson Bridge. Every time Fairfax County put out a bond initiative, it passed. I didn't have children then, okay? Every time. I paid attention to that. You come to Prince George's County, the bond initiatives on the ballot, they pass, but nobody knows where the money's going. You come to Prince George's County, everybody want to talk about the president. Okay, so the president's 12 miles away from my house, big whoop. But this is my problem with that. The president serves the entire nation and all of its territories. Before what he does gets to me, it's got to go through so many layers of government. I cannot hold him directly accountable. I don't fuss about the president anymore because all politics is local. All politics is local.
That is. And I was talking to you earlier. I know that Congress just denied a law in DC. Let's talk about
DC
that.
rewrote their criminal code. Rewrote it. The whole thing. Do you know how long that took? How much work that was? Woo! And the city council passed it. The mayor objected to it. Because DC is not a state. It belongs to the federal government. So it has to go to Congress for approval or ratification. That's the technical term. The House said nope. House voted it down. And
what was that law? What was that law?
It was the whole criminal code of DC.
The whole criminal code trying to change it.
The whole criminal code. What we determine what is a crime in DC, how much time you get if you found guilty of committing a crime in DC, all that was in there. The whole freaking criminal code. I'm talking pages, thick page. It's a book, okay? A book. The House of Representatives said, nope, can't support this. Not gonna happen. Not ratifying. Well, the city council chair then sends a letter to the Congress and says, oh, we withdraw that. We withdraw it. The Senate said, never mind, you ain't got to withdraw it because we're going to vote no too. Nope. So the Congress effectively killed that. That new criminal code will never go into law, will never go into effect in the District of Columbia. Some of the problems that were pointed out, there were many, but some of the biggest issues that our federal elected officials said they had with it was the fact that it reduced the sentence on car thefts, carjacking. It was more about reducing the sentencing on some major crimes. And a lot of those crimes are being experienced right now in society at a high rate.
At a high rate, yeah.
And so our elected officials said, no way, no how. You can't get these people to pass. Now, I know somebody out there under the sound of my voice, as they like to say in the church, sitting there going, but yeah, it's discrimination against the Black people. Well, baby, let me explain something to you. Everything ain't discrimination.
No, it's not. Because if you doing a crime, you deserve to do the time. Sorry.
If you ain't out there jacking the cards, you ain't got to worry about it.
Exactly. Out here killing people for no reason, committing violent offenses, sexual assaults. Did you see the number of sexual assaults in DC?
Mm-hmm.
What the number is today with sexual assaults, it went up 23%.
And being a former member of the nation's criminal justice system, and I don't say that lightly, I was a member. Yes, I was both a prosecutor and I served as a public defender. So I've served in the nation's criminal justice system. Let me explain something to you. While the statistics say minorities get harsher sentences, the data, yes, is correct. There are more Black men in the nation's prisons than any other race or gender.
Yes.
It is true.
This is true.
I will never deny that. What I want to say to my people, my family, my cousins, my sisters, my brothers, my aunts, my uncles, my babies, that number could not be true if we were not involved in criminal activity. That does not mean all of us have been wrongfully prosecuted and finished. That does not mean that all of us are criminals. What it says, what that data says is, once you get yourself involved in the criminal justice system, there's no guarantee you're going to be treated objectively. There is no guarantee that they're not going to consider your skin color when the prosecutor decides what charges to levy against you. When the judge makes rulings on the motions that your defense counsel files, when the jury hands down the verdict, and when the judge passes the sentence. And I said it that way for a reason. The law itself is not racist. The people running our criminal justice system are racist in some instances. Some of them are racist.
Right.
We need to do a better job at vetting in this 21st century who we elect, who we vote on to be our state prosecutors. They are not appointed, they are elected. With the exception of the U.S. Attorney's Office and the federal government, at the state and local level, prosecutors are elected by the people. Ballot box, my people. When we look at who we have on the bench as judges in those black robes, again, it goes back to the ballot box. Because whether the judge is elected by the people or whether the judge is nominated and confirmed is done by people who are elected into office. The ballot box. Our juries are picked normally by who's on the voter registration rolls, ballot box, or who has a driver's license.
Who has a driver's license, right?
And I'm not going to demand that everybody gets a driver's license because everybody don't want to drive. But if you're eligible to vote and you're not a registered voter, and the jurisdictions that use the voting rolls to pick the juries, you can't influence the process if you don't want to participate in it.
Right. Right.
But again, I go back to the beginning. If you don't involve yourself in the criminal activity, you ain't got to worry about none of that.
Right.
Except to do your job as a citizen and vote. Participate in the process. Chew on that for 2 seconds. I'll be right back. My dog want to go outside.
Okay. Y'all hear all this? And y'all, this is, so what are we going to do? What are we going to do about these situations? Are y'all going to take all of this information and do absolutely nothing? It's time for everybody to wake up, not just a handful of people. Because as y'all can see, just a handful of people, it's going to take more than just a handful of people to fight this ugly system that we're up under. We're up under an ugly system right now, up under a very ugly system right now. And it's just going to take more than a handful of people to fight this ugly system. It's going to take everybody involved, because this is all of our livelihoods involved. Your children's schooling, your taxes, your health care, your housing, your livelihood. That's up for debate right now. So what are we gonna do? Y'all, it's not like, yeah, you might not get the memo, but somebody is out here bringing the memo to you. Because a lot of us don't get the memo either. Because I didn't get the memo about last night. And it wasn't made available for the public for real. They did that in a Zoom. They didn't answer anybody's questions or nothing. And then we got to call and make phone calls in order for them to even put the damn video out for y'all to even see or hear the nonsense that went on. Why? Because it's another thing that they have lied about. It's another thing that they begged us to help them push through. And here they never hold up to their part of the bargain. And they know they not going to do it because they know y'all ain't going to do shit. All y'all going to do is talk about, and that's that. Forget your houses, forget your taxes, forget everything else. It's like we're going to get y'all vote and we're going to tell y'all anything and y'all going to believe it because we've been doing it since Jesus was a baby.
Right. Yep.
God is exposing stuff. Right before general elections, DC, God exposed the housing issue that you all are having there in DC right now. What did you do about it? Not a damn thing. But y'all went, y'all voted in the same people that did y'all dirty and everything else. Y'all ain't do nothing. And the fact remains the same, that your housing is messed up. They still taking more of it and more of it from you everywhere you turn around. Anytime when they put a big building up somewhere, they even took something that belonged to you. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about poor people. I'm talking about low-income people. And I'm even talking about middle-class people. Because that middle class don't even exist no more.
Look, you stop. Y'all, girl, you done stepped on another thing that kind of hurt my feelings today. I got a phone call this morning from a resident in Lansdowne apartment community on Bright Sea Road.
Bright Sea Road.
Right next door to the House of Jericho. She was upset because she got a letter from the management office saying they have to leave. They have to vacate the apartment. Not being evicted because this ain't got nothing to do with they didn't pay the rent. Nope, none of that. The lease, yes, the leases will not be renewed. They have to find a new place to live. So my crazy tail, I'm like, what? Did they tell you what? Yeah, I had questions I already know the answer to, but I had to ask the question. She said, no, the letter don't explain nothing. It just says we got, I think, 30, 60 days to leave. I went on the planning department's website. Yes, ma'am. Redevelopment all day long. So
Redevelopment.
now when
And
you
then now
talk about low income,
these people moving expenses or
nope,
nothing.
got to go. No moving expenses, no help, no nothing. And I had to explain to her that legally the landlord can do that. It's at the end of your lease. He's not breaking the contract. Excuse me, he's telling you I'm not renting to you anymore. You have to vacate the premises. I said, and if you pull out your lease, there's a provision in there that tells you he can terminate the lease with 30 days, 60 days notice, whatever the lease says. I said, check your lease. As long as you got timely notice, there's nothing you can do to stop this. So now we're going to have an apartment community, Lansdowne apartment community, Bright Seat Road, 1720 Bright Seat Road. Let me give y'all the details.
Talking about.
Let me say it one more time. Lansdowne apartment community, 1720 Bright Seat Road. They've been told you got to go. So Rose, you hit the nail on the head when you talk about, yes, low-income people are now being rendered homeless for the sake of redevelopment.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. I tell y'all. And because you know, and it like I said, when I hear some of these advocates out here, they don't be focusing on the right thing. Sometimes they be making a bunch of noise about nothing.
So
about nothing.
Look, where is the income-based housing for those families to relocate?
There is none. We don't. That's what I was telling people. Like, we ain't never really had low-income housing. We got 2 low-income housing apartment complexes out here in Prince George's County. One, Pleasant Homes and Central Gardens. And there is no turnover in Pleasant Homes, honey, because you almost got, them people keep them, ain't number 2 bedrooms in there, baby. You got people living all over top of each other, okay? Keeping them places.
Yes, ma'am.
They ain't giving them up, child. They could be laying in the flood with a flood in the living room, child. They ain't giving them up.
Exactly.
And they ain't saying the daggone thing about a lot of the stuff that's going on there either. Because I know. I just talked to, and I'm all over the place. I just talked to some people that live in Marlboro Plaza. I have a senior that come and pick up, that live in that what is it, 2300 at 1200, whatever that damn high-rise building, live right in there and come pick up for some elderly people in her building.
Mm-hmm.
And the issues that's going on, well, them issues been going on in there.
Yep.
And that used to be a apartment community for our middle class people. My aunt lives there. My aunt has a good job. Always been living there for a very long time. Still working and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And they're living in those type of conditions.
Yep. And what I say to my family is this: housing is a civil right. You have a right in this country to have a roof over your head. Not only do you have the right to housing, our Fair Housing Administration works to ensure that it is not just a house, but it's a good house, a well-maintained house. So if you're renting, the fair housing laws say your landlord must do certain things. They can't force you to live in an apartment with lead-based paint, because we know lead-based paint is toxic.
It's toxic, yes. Yes.
Landlord has a responsibility to remove that lead-based paint and mitigate the damages to your health. Landlord has a responsibility if they're going to rent to you to make sure you're renting a place that has water, running water, hot and cold, plumbing, yes, landlord responsibility. The HVAC system is supposed to be in good working condition, landlord responsibility. And oh, by the way, if they're renting in Prince George's County, county ordinance says the landlord got to have a rental license. So before you sign your lease, first question you need to ask is, can I see your rental license? Because the purpose of that rental license is when they show that to you, that gives you certain confidences, because the Department of Permitting, Inspections, and Enforcement goes out to inspect that living situation to ensure it meets the code. When that license is granted, then you know you can be sure with a certain level degree of comfort you don't have lead-based paint on your walls. Your building is not contaminated with mold and mildew, because the county's been in there to look at it to make sure of that. The county also has a responsibility to go back and check regularly to make sure, because things happen. Apartments do get flooded after the license is granted. So we need to make sure that the landlord is doing his or her part. So you want to see that rental license. No rental license, no lease, no rent. And that's a painful decision to have to make, to walk away from a place that you want to call home. But I promise you, if you demand to see that rental license up front, it's going to save you a lot of headache on the back end.
Yeah.
And then once you move in, you have a right to enjoy your home in peace. So if you got neighbors making noise all time of night, you can't sleep. You can't watch your soap operas during the day. You can't enjoy your game shows. You can't watch the news because they throwing a party. County ordinance says quiet hours. No, there's no such thing anymore. You're not supposed to be able to hear noise coming from a person's home within 50 feet, outside of that 50 feet circle. That's hard in an apartment community because 50 feet, you're right in the middle of somebody's wall sometimes. But in a home 50 feet from that house, you shouldn't hear their music playing outside.
Right.
But if your master bedroom in your apartment is 50 feet away from the wall that connects you with your neighbor, and you can hear them getting their party on, you can call the police department and have them come knock on the door and say, I'm gonna need you to quiet it down. That's 24 hours a day. That's county law.
Right.
If you look outside and they selling drugs in the parking lot, that ain't legal.
No, it's not.
Distribution is illegal. Call the police.
We do. We have to take those chances. Like you want, like I said, it's people that's living in neighborhoods where their children is sleeping in bathtubs.
You know they out there waving guns in your parking lot. Call the police. It ain't trying to wave a gun in the open now, but it's a safety issue. And not only do the police have a law enforcement function, they also have a community care function. They protect and serve. So community care says, I got a guy out here waving a gun. He hadn't pulled the trigger. I don't even know if the gun is loaded, but I'm concerned because that's a safety issue. Can you come check it out for me? They need to come on over. All they have to do is ask some questions. 9 times out of 10, if the guy waving the gun has criminal intentions, when he see the cop car pull up, he gonna put that gun away, or he gonna disappear out of the neighborhood. It's just that simple.
Oh, hammer. That shit is that.
So don't be afraid, parents, to chastise and discipline your children. You can't abuse your child. Abuse is illegal. Discipline is illegal.
But disciplining them is not.
Discipline
That's
is
the whole
not.
thing. you know, we have lost sight in how to discipline. Because like I said, I done got some ass whoopings with some extension cords. I done been told, you know, I done been told, go get that switch. You know what I'm saying? I done been told before. I done been told that, and I done went to got the little, and I got the right switch after a couple of times of getting the little one, and then they go get the bigger one. You know what I'm saying?
Child,
Like, and I'm.
we ain't got to go that far in the 21st century. Tell that baby, you want the iPhone? No, you can't have it. Give it to me. I'm putting it in my pocket. I'm taking it to work. I'm gonna call the police. That's abuse. That ain't abuse. The law don't say you got to get that baby that $1,300 iPhone. Oh, you want them new $700 Jordans that just hit the market? You can forget that, Jack. You won't be getting them new shoes today. You better wear them old Pumas with the hole in the toe.
Yeah, because we always reward bad behavior all the time.
Exactly.
We reward bad behavior like it ain't no tomorrow, honey. And then when that shit come back to bite you in your ass, you be looking crazy.
Yep. Look, sitting in the courthouse. But little baby was a good boy. And I ain't talking about the rapper. But little Junebug, he was so smart. But little Junebug was outside at 4 a.m. in the morning trying to jack somebody's car. I'm just saying.
So you said the council is in session for the next 90 days.
The General Assembly is only in session for 90 days. They will adjourn sine die until in April, early April, and there will be no more legislative session in Annapolis until next February. The county council is in session all year long. Now they take breaks, they take recesses here and there, but you can get the county council's calendar on their website at any time. Just go to the county council website. You got to scroll down to the bottom and it says calendar, hit the calendar, and it'll give you the calendar of all their meetings, their committee meetings. They'll have the agendas out there. They tell you how you can go in and speak. You can register to speak. You don't have to speak in person if you don't want to. They'll give you instructions on how you can send them a comment. You can email your comments to the clerk of the county council to put them on the record. You can email it. You can fax it. You can mail it snail mail if you want. But if you want to walk into the Wayne Curry building and go into that county council meeting on that first floor, you have that right. That is your right as a citizen.
That's why I say I'm going to have to make my way back to those because, yeah, I need to start because I got to do more. I got to do more.
We protest outside the building. No, you need to go into the meeting. Go into the meeting. Protest in the live meeting. And I'm not saying be disruptive by protesting. When I say protest in the meeting, I say register your name. Take your 3 minutes. Look them 11 rascals in their faces and say, look, this is my problem. I elected you to deal with it. I need you to handle it. That is how you really protest effectively in the United States of America, because this is a democracy. And you might have 3 minutes, but your speech is 15 minutes. So you know what you do? I'm going to go and tell you. You take your 15-minute speech, cut it up into 3-minute parts, 5 for your buddies, 4 your family members, 4 your church folk. Y'all go down there together and back to back. You start with the introduction, the other 3 people pick it up, the last person do the conclusion. They just heard your whole 15-minute speech in 5 different voices. And what that does is, while it's the same complaint coming out of 5 mouths, there are 5 voters who just said, I got the same problem. And if 5 of y'all got the same problem, and each of y'all tell 2, how many more people got that problem? Now we got 15 voters. And if them 15 voters go out there and tell 2 more, now we got 45 voters who all got the same problem. You see how this thing snowballs? That's how your protest becomes effective, because these rascals know the voting time is coming. Election time is coming. And all the people going to remember, we went down to that meeting that day. What'd y'all do about it? But when you don't show up at all, your silence is consent. And that's not how this is supposed to work.
Not supposed to work. Yeah. Tell people all the time, being silent, because I send emails all the time. So, like I said, it's time now for me to make my presence known again. I have to, because this is just not making no sense. And sometimes you be kind of afraid, that they're going to retaliate in some kind of way, because they do underhanded stuff like that.
Right. You're right. It's been done, unfortunately.
Yeah, they do underhanded stuff like that. But like I tell people all the time, if we go as a group, we are supposed to be reckoned with.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What they gonna do? Let's say one time.
You can never be punished for exercising your rights under the law. Look, I tell you right now, I'll be the first person to defend you if you are ever charged with exercising your rights under the law. Call me. I'll be there quick and you can bat an eye. You have a right to use your voice to speak out about what you don't like in your government. And more of us need to do that.
Ways of retaliating. I done had retaliation before. I done been put in places where I have not received grants when I know I was supposed to receive them, funding, things of that nature, just because I don't get just hop in bed with people. Because I'm not going to sell my soul for that. And I know that one day, all of this underhanded shit is going to come to an end. I don't want to be in that group when God calls judgment.
Right.
I don't want to be in that group, period. I don't want to be. I don't even mix myself up with those people that I know that it's easy to be bought and sold. And that's just the mentality of us as people. That's our mentality. It's been that way since slavery. We just, we don't understand that especially these people that's in power. Soon as they get finished with your black AF asses, they're going to throw you to the wolves.
Look, be like our friends who go to the school board meeting and make that school board meeting run till 2, 3 a.m. in the morning because everybody in the audience signed up to speak, and you ain't going to adjourn this meeting till I've had my say. Y'all know them people they show on the news. Y'all know them people who go viral because they get up in there and I'm going to sit right here. If I got to sit here till 12 a.m. in the morning, you going to hear what I got to say. Whether it be my school system, whether it be my public roads that got too many potholes, whether it's the water that stinks in my community and I can't seem to figure out why when it comes out my kitchen sink. Whatever the public issue is, my taxes are too high. Be courageous enough to be that person who says, I'm coming here until you hear my voice, because I got the right to be heard. As much as I love a good protest, please don't get me wrong. People tune the protest out. They ignore you.
Yeah. Especially these ones lately, that's because ain't nothing behind them. When you look at who's throwing these protests, and most of them people, it be a group of people, but everybody got a different agenda. That's why we don't never get hurt.
No, you can march on the street all you want.
Especially when you see some of the people that's involved, everybody got an agenda. Ain't nobody, them people in that group, everybody ain't going out there for the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we don't never get anything done
Nope.
when it comes to that type of stuff, because everybody want to be the leader. And sometimes the leader don't even know their ass from the hole in the wall.
And look.
And so never going to get nothing done.
Let me again, I got to be the bearer of bad news. I'm going to tell you the truth because I know it to be true. Depending upon where you're going to protest, if you got to get a permit, you got to tell them how many people coming. And depending on how many people coming, you know they'll close them government offices for the day and tell them people to work at home.
Yeah,
You know they're protesting outside of an empty building.
I'd have been a part of that before. Me and Miss Cook and a couple of us, we threw the first we marched from the Department of Justice to the Lincoln Memorial and then held the whole rally.
Mm-hmm.
We was we had to get a permit for that and had to pay some money, an obscene amount of money for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to go to class. we had to go to class.
Mm-hmm. Too many people. Oh, protest safety issues. Government employees, y'all work at home for the day. We're going to shut this building down. We ain't going to stop them from protesting. But guess what? The people you protesting ain't even there to hear you.
Ain't even there, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's why I tell people, no, I ain't going out there to march on nobody's street. But I will go to a county council meeting. I will go to a school board meeting. I will write a letter. I will testify in front of the General Assembly. Because that's where it matters the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this just been this been a eye-opening experience right here, Tanya. Like, I had to have this conversation. That was the first thing that I woke up to this morning, was that God awful, you know. They didn't ignore the Yeah, they didn't ignore it. You know what I'm saying? No, they didn't. But the thing about it is, look who was doing it. Those brothers and sisters had it together, and they went out there with an agenda, and everybody was on the same page.
The Black Lives Matter protest?
No, talking about the George Floyd situation.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, and that was, George Floyd was an exception to the rule.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that's right.
For the first time in American history, we watched on television as they killed a man. It played out on TV. And so that shocked the conscience of the nation.
That's why I went like that, because the whole motherfucking world saw it.
George Floyd was totally different. That was totally different.
The world saw it, and we all said something.
Yeah. And
they were talking about George Floyd in countries that's days away from here.
Yes. And there's rarely a time when any issue gets that kind of a response worldwide.
Yeah, and then that Black Lives Matter shit went on up to hell on a scholarship.
Yeah. When baby girl said my daddy's going to change the world, she didn't lie, because the world saw her daddy be murdered. The world saw it.
Yeah. And then when we had Tyre Nichols murder, the only reason why they got 19-day justice in 19 days is because they was trying to stop the dirty shit from coming out about these people.
Yeah.
Why that happened so fast? Don't mistake it.
And
that's why that.
Look, and that was dirty. Let me tell you, that was real dirty.
Of course. Yeah, of course. When you sit up here, you a police chief, assistant police chief in 2008, and you get fired for sex trafficking program. Not made to resign, not laid off, but fired.
So, and not only that,
job in another jurisdiction to cause more havoc. And here we have, under your command, Black lady, under your command, five of your police officers that you supervise, that you have in sting operations, murder an unarmed Black man for no reason.
Well, look, and the other piece of that puzzle is this: the Tyree Nichols murder was personal. That had nothing to do with police activity. That was extremely personal.
Yeah, I told you that just the way that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Just the way that whole thing I knew it was bigger than that. I knew it was bigger than that. And it's going to be way bigger than even this. Once they get to talking about it, it's a whole bunch of disgusting stuff that's going to come out of that situation. And see, it's a lot of stuff, like I said, we be distracted all the time, you know, about Sierra's dress and all of this other crazy shit. So we can't even pay attention to what's going on. We're distracted all of the time.
Speaking of, one issue we talked about the last time I was on, Rose, was Shanquella. I don't know if you saw the recent media reportings, but there was a letter written and sent to the media naming Shanquella's killer and asking for justice for her. Now, again, like we talked about a few weeks ago, the problem there is that justice is going to have to come from Mexico because the murder happened in Mexico. But when I saw that in the news yesterday, I went, wow. People haven't forgotten.
No, they ain't forgotten about it. But what are they going to do about it?
Right.
It's going to be a year soon for that.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a year soon for that. What are they going to do about it? Then we got the 5 Americans going over there to Mexico, supposed to be getting the butt lift, all this other crazy shit, and then 2 of them get murdered and other 3 shot or whatever, and then the cartel turned the other people, the crooked people win. You know what I'm saying? Like
oh yeah.
This the United States government, baby. It's scary.
No, I used to say there's no honor among thieves, but you're right. The cartel turned them 5 boys in, left that note and said, y'all have at it. They didn't follow our rules. I was like, wow, it's like that. Yeah.
Part of it because they didn't want no smoke with the United States. They did. They didn't want no smoke. You know what I'm saying? They ain't want no smoke, but still at the same time, it's just the way that this stuff happens. It's bigger than a lot of us. That's why I guess it don't really affect people, because they don't really look at the big picture of all of this stuff.
You're right. Well, we have to be civically engaged. We have to participate in our government affairs. And when it's not right, we have to speak out. We have to speak out.
And it can't be, like I said, everybody wants to be the one, though. Everybody wants to be the one. You know, when it comes to that type of stuff, it's like, I'm gaining my circle, though. I tell you that. My circle of fighters, like I said, I'm glad to have y'all to know people like yourself, Tanya, seriously. Because, like I said, Miss Donata, you know, people that's out here that ain't in bed with people. You take what you do serious.
Look, I
Because like I
understand
said,
that it affects people's lives.
for themselves. They are. We just had a older lady, an elderly lady get shot in the back twice on Alabama Avenue going into the grocery store, minding her Black business.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have an uproar about that, but we're going to have a few fools come out, talk the same shit that they've been talking since Jesus was a baby. Every time some child get murdered, or some old person, or some mother going to take her child to school, and all of that, like, these people don't do nothing. They don't do nothing. But most of the time, go tuck their heads between their legs, or go in the church and pray somewhere, or go and put some makeshift shrine up, and go stand in front of it and talk or tell lies about what they're going to do to make things better.
Right.
But then when it's time to vote for these same people that y'all be hollering and screaming for all the time, and then they summons y'all like apocalypse zombies to come out and vote for them. Y'all do it. And let them tell y'all they gonna do this and do that, and nothing happens. And we be worser and worser in these situations. They don't get no better. Like, I'm sick of it. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and keep on, bite my tongue about stuff and, sugarcoating shit. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. And I'm not gonna sit up here. Like, that's why I say I ain't talking to nobody unless y'all got fucking solutions. Because I'm tired of meeting up at the round table just to discuss a bunch of nothing. Because see, that's the thing. That's another thing. As long as it's not happening to them being men, and Alexis was talking about this earlier. As long as it's not happening to the individual, they can care less. But as soon as it hit tap on their door, they want everybody and their mom to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It is a shame how these, how this stuff go on, man. Like I said, all I could do is do my part, continue to pray that more people wake up and we come together and try to figure this thing out. But I'm not going to another shrine, memorial service, or any of that other shit. And I'm not going to another sit down unless we're going to be sitting down actually executing these problems. Communities live, the underserved community members are in need of resources, not to give the prize and do nothing. And that's the truth, because that's the whole thing. I do that every Sunday. I go into the underdeserved communities every goddamn Sunday. Feeding them, giving them hope, applying resources to them now that I have them, because with lawyers and education and everything else, just like with my mother, just like with my mamas who are suffering right now, who have lost children, this, that, and the third. This is what my coalition is all about. It's always been about that. But I'm one person.
Right.
One person. And that's the thing. And I ain't for no nonsense either. So that's why I don't collaborate with a whole bunch of people with nonsense, because I get shit done. Yeah. Even when I do it, most of the time, that's how it's affected. Whatever I do or execute, put out there, I'm gonna execute that shit. Even if I have to reach out to people like you, and I have.
But that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
When I have issues, especially with my parents, that's suffering through shit, because I know becoming an advocate, I knew that it was more about than sharing a goddamn flyer. I knew it was bigger than that. When I first got into that, that's why I go the way that I go. And it took me a long time to get to this point. Advocating 30 years in radio for 8. It took me a long time to get here. But now that I'm here, I'm going to keep it moving. And I'm going to keep on. Because like I said, I'm one person. But whatever I put my mind to, and when I tell a person something, I'm doing it. Because I'm not going to come up and say anything to anybody or offer anything to anybody if I can't do it. Amen. And that's real. Amen. That's why I don't connect and I don't collaborate, because I'm not about the talking shit. I'm not about, I didn't had a whole motherfucking council member step down. So I know can't nobody tell me nothing. That's why Murray Che ain't here no more. Because I know how to take it to their door. I went to that motherfucking woman's door, me, Chris, and Jewel. That's why that woman ain't run. Step down right after that.
There you go. You gotta hold them accountable. Gotta hold them accountable. And that's it.
I ain't gonna sit up here. That's why, like I said, that's why I don't link up. Because if you ain't talking, because that shit don't, you just talking. Nah, I ain't just talking when I go into communities, baby. I'm applying resources and I'm applying motherfucking pressure. Every time I go. Every time I go. I'm applying pressure. Trust and believe me. They hate to see me coming. Because they know I'm not a person that picks sides. And I ain't doing this for the people. Right. I'm doing it for him. I'm doing it for him. That's why it's different. That's why I move different. Because it ain't for to please nobody else. It's right. For him. That's why no matter how long it takes and how I gotta beg, borrow, and steal to get the money and the resources to do what I need to do, I'ma do it before I have my hand out to anybody that I know that it's not going to, I ain't selling my soul to you just to get these people. I'ma rely on God.
Amen.
Seriously, like I said, I'm out in these trenches all the time. I know what's going on here. That's why I'm angry. And that's why I'm compassionate about what I'm talking about. That's why I'm compassionate about it, because I know exactly what's going on. But I'm one person.
Right.
I'm one person with one mind and some friends and couple of friends in high places. You know what I'm saying? Couple of lawyer friends. That's it. But that shit moves. That shit been moving mountains since I met y'all. I tell y'all.
Well, I'll say this: you've used your platform to educate the masses, and so your sphere of influence is large. It's large, and so I congratulate you and appreciate you for that, because there are others who have a similar platform and they use it for foolishness.
Yeah. When I first got into radio, I knew what my platform was going to be all about. You know, I came in with an agenda. I came in with a storyline. Missing and murdered individuals. And loving my community and loving my people. And I'm not going to say black, white, because I love all my people as a whole. I don't look at color. If you're a jackass, you're a jackass. I'm going to call you out.
There you go.
It don't matter white, black, green, or yellow. But I know one thing. My platform always been, it's these years, 8 years in radio, I have evolved, because the more I be pulled in situations, I can't just turn my back on it and say, oh, I'm not a homeless advocate, so, you deal with that. Or I'm not a person that deals with housing, so you deal with that. I'm just the lady missing and murdered lady. No, I have all kinds of issues that come in my face, in my ear, in my inbox, by letter, by smoke signal. I get them every day. And it takes me off path every day. Yes, I was walking my path, and I'm still walking my path because my path is about the people.
There you go.
And you can't help but to worry or not try to do, or you just cannot not do anything.
Right.
Like I said, I know what it is. I didn't have the opportunity of the left door, the right door, but I chose to go the door straight ahead. And I knew that I was going to be all alone going down that motherfucker too. And I have no problem with it at all. At all.
Can't be afraid. You cannot be afraid to walk alone.
I'm not afraid of no human. I'm afraid of what this man up here is going to think about me when it's my time to leave this earth here. That's what I'm worried about. What that man up there is going to think about me. I'm not worried about humans.
Right.
Because even though humans ain't got to get me, he knows where I'm coming from with this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it is. Like, nah. Yeah. And every time, like I said, this came to me while I was sleeping. My day started at 4 a.m. every morning. I'm up, I'm checking my emails, I'm printing up stuff that I'm going to talk about, and I'm answering calls that I didn't answer the night before. And most of the time, I don't answer the call when I get it because I know it's something that I'm not going to be able to do about the situation at that time. So I got to think about some shit. Who I'm going to reach out to fix this problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's a daily thing.
Mm-hmm.
My mother told me, she said, girl, I be sitting around, you know, girl, that shit, I know that a lot of that stuff is depressing. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you know that people know better.
Right.
When you know that people know better, it's very depressing. But what am I supposed to do?
Exactly. Well, we got plenty to do.
The government ain't giving me nothing. I've been in this shit for 30 years. I've been doing a radio show for 8 years, and the government ain't giving me nothing. I ain't getting funded. I get funding from my parents, from people, you know what I'm saying, in my circle, from my mom. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm able to pull an event off or do something or paying out of my pocket. Alexa said to me today, she was like, oh, you was paying at Monroe Media? And yes. I paid at every goddamn studio I done been in. That wasn't free of charge. So I've been paying into this shit for like this. I'm about this shit. I sacrifice all the time to make sure these people get this information, to make sure that they know what's going on. That's selfless, not selfish. That's selfless. Because I can keep all this shit to myself, my money, everything else, and keep that shit to myself and be one of those type of people, just like some of the rest of them. Oh, it ain't affecting me. Oh, this ain't going to affect me. Or this ain't affecting me so long. You know what I'm saying? I can easily be one of those people.
Mm-hmm.
Real. But God ain't going to, the God that I serve, he ain't going to let me. Because he knows it's bigger than me.
Right.
And he knows what happened in one neighborhood. I know what happened in one neighborhood affects us all. What happened in one part of the world affects us all.
Yep. We are all tied together in this big thing we call the earth.
And this is not a black or white thing. This is a people thing. And this is the thing, a poor and middle class people thing. Because the only people that's benefiting from this is the rich people.
You got it.
And I say S with the S on the end, capital. The rich people.
You got a point.
Not the middle class, not people like myself, not poor people. The rich people, not even the people that's working hard, that's actually doing work out here. They not getting their just due. Like I say, I mean what I say. When I say I'm taking fucking groceries to people's jobs on a Sunday, because they got to work a couple of extra days or working on a Sunday just to get some. Come on now. I mean I mean it. This shit is crazy.
So look, you keep doing what you're doing. You have to, because we need you. We need you. I know it's frustrating. I know you want to quit. I know you want to say, forget this, man. I'm done with it. But no, your audience needs you.
No. I get frustrated with it. I do. What I've been trying to do is find new ways to make sure I make that shit happen. I said, you know what? I'm going to stop giving these studios my money, and I'm going to make my own studio.
See?
So I can be able to get up every day. I ain't got to just do it on Tuesdays. I can do it every goddamn day of the week if I want to.
That's right. Look, have your show every day, because there's something that you can talk about every day. Every day.
Yeah, something that I can talk about every day. And that's why I'm getting ready to build this app too, baby, because I'm sick of social media and I ain't got to worry about them shadow banning me and blocking me and putting me in Facebook jail and all this other bullshit, because I'm going to have my own app to put all of my content on. Period. Yeah. I bet you that. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm going to start making sacrifices for the right shit.
Right.
Because I've been sacrificing for the wrong thing. Now, I'm going to make sacrifices for the right shit.
I love it. I'm going
to make sacrifices for this shit going to get out here one way or another. Trust me. And I know every time I get good at it, every time you know what I'm saying, step it up a notch. You know, I know they coming for me. I smell them. I know they coming for me.
Nothing they can do with you, baby. They can't do nothing with this.
To me, nothing. Period. And I ain't tooting my own horn or pat my own again. Yes, I am. Toot.
Exactly. Toot your horn and pat yourself on the back, because you are doing the darn thing, my sister. And I appreciate you for it.
I know why I wasn't, because I knew this shit wasn't going, because some people make it look easy. Some people make it look easy when they be sitting on them podcasts up cheesing and grinning and talk about people's business and Sierra's dress and you know what I'm saying, what Beyonce ate for breakfast and all of that stuff. Nah, I might be looking cute, but I'm going to be talking some shit out of this mouth right here, baby. You probably don't. Some probably just come to see how cute I am and don't want to hear this shit. That's why ain't too many people, because they hear this mouth. No, ain't no air between here. And I don't take my head. I might take my wig off. But I don't take my head off of my shoulders along with my wig and sitting on the dresser. and then get up and attach it back on my shoulder. No. Mm-mm.
Love
No. I'm off of here. This wig. That's it. Brain still stays right there, and I know what I have to deal with, and I know regardless of what I used to think about it. I'm done with this. I can't deal with this no more. This is too frustrating. I ain't had a vacation since, girl, I don't even remember the last time I even had one.
Wow.
Because how I have been sacrificing. Like, I don't have a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? I have to pick and choose. And it frustrates me sometimes because I am being a selfless person, and I am taking money that I don't have to make sure this information get out here for a bunch of people that it just seems like they don't care.
Right.
But then I had to think about it. I have a mama, I have sisters and brothers, I have my grandbabies, I have my children. That this shit is bigger than me. It's bigger than sitting up here whining about dropping $400 and $500 for some studio fee. It's bigger than,
right,
because I know I have to get it done. Because that man up there, he ain't gonna let me stop. Trust and believe me. I didn't want it to. It's times that I don't even want to get out the bed and deal with this. I have to put it together. It used to be time I had to go pull me a drink first. Smoke me a joint first. And I'm keeping it 100.
No, tell the truth.
Or before I can do anything. Yeah, it used to be that way. And he said no. Because you can't complain about different stuff, because this is the thing. I made you in the image of me. You hear what I said? I made you in the image of me. So you already got the blueprint. You just have to ask for it. You will receive it. Point blank, period. So I asked God to take all that crap away. Help me, because if I got to be sitting up here drinking a drink before I can go get on air and do something, then hey, I don't need to do this right here.
Right.
But people just don't know. I talked to my favorite mentor, Curtis Mosey, that's been dumping it for years when it comes to this crime in the DMV. He has been recording homicides ever since the early 80s.
Oh.
And he said to me, because I had gotten to a place, like I said, I know. I had gotten to a place before things started happening. You know what I'm saying? Before, I had got into this place. And I'm like, I was depressed all the time. You hear these stories, you hear these mamas and daddies and sisters and aunties and grandmas crying out for help. And it's bigger than us. And you hearing how they're being treated, and you hearing all of the stuff. That shit drove me crazy. It did. Because see, I'm not waiting for it to happen to me. It has happened. It has happened time and time again. I've lost several people in my family to violence. Some of them, I just had the anniversary of my uncle's homicide. As a matter of fact, on his birthday, March the 7th.
Wow.
Right out here in Prince George's County, Maryland. killed brutally. One of the best people you would ever want to meet in your life did nothing to hurt nobody. So I know how that shit is. And I had to look at my family and the hurt that I got behind that. Lost my cousin 2010.
Oh.
That was another thing that just took me down. It had me in such a bad place. I didn't even go to the funeral. Why? Because I was in the hospital. 2020, 2 times. 2 nephews murdered. Whole bunch of cousins, friends, best friends. My best friend in the whole world murdered out here. 2017. In his house. So this shit is deep for me. It's just something that even though I want to give it up, I would never do it because it's not. I can't.
Right.
Sometimes you try to prevent people from going through this thing. This thing is a hurting thing. I have children and grandbabies that's in these god-awful schools. Kids that's working in these god-awful places, you know, that's not protected. I got a dentist, a chef, and a goddamn warehouse manager. Military warehouse manager. Just had an issue about a month ago where they had fired somebody because somebody came in there with a gun. Yeah. So I know how this shit is. Like, this is stuff every day. It's a battle every single day. Every time I go and I pick my phone up and I read an email or a text or something, or go and get a phone call that I might have ignored. I look at my phone sometimes and I be like, hell no, I ain't answering it.
All I is your friend.
You know, just scared to death. Just scared, because you don't know what's on the other end of that phone. All you know is that person on that other end of that phone is relying on you to fix something. Like, for real. Like, this shit is deep. It's deep. It really is. And it's like the more, you know, like, I can't never. I love my people too much. I love life too much. You know what I'm saying? I want to be here. I want my children, even when I leave here, I want my children to have a better advantage.
Right.
Like, I have to do this. Regardless if I want to, regardless if I don't have the strength, and all of that is a factor right now in my life. I beg for strength on a daily. With each story, each email, I'm begging for strength. So I know how that shit is. No, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going until I can't go no more. I said, you know, when God knows he needs to put his hand, sit on me, like because sometimes God have to sit on me. And he have to put his hand over my mouth. You know? This has been a conversation. It always is. It always is.
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciate you so much.
Look, right back at you. It's about, for me, it's about educating my people. Educating my people.
Yeah.
so we can make better, informed decisions about our lives. Because we have to understand every choice we make has consequences.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have. Yeah, they have consequences.
Yep.
Yeah, they got consequences, you know. And there's consequences when we don't do anything, you know. And that's what people need to understand is great. Is you might not think the consequences is greater, but it is sometimes. Consequences is even greater when you don't vote.
Right.
The consequences is even greater when you don't use your voice for the greater good. The consequences is even bigger when you don't stand up for yourself. You don't stand up for your communities. You don't stand up for your neighborhoods, the people that's in them. Sometimes you have to be the voice for the voices, whether you really have a voice or not.
Correct.
Because I used to just be behind the scenes, just putting everything together, booking interviews, this, that, and the third when me and my ex started radio. I just used to be behind the scenes. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to open my mouth. You be scared sometimes to open your mouth because people expect for, you know, it to come with a whole bunch of big words. I used to tell motherfuckers all the time, nah, explain, I don't want to hear all that. I need for you to explain this to me like I'm a 2-year-old. And I used to think I wasn't good enough for different things. Here I got my pastor coming to me, telling me, look, I need for you after Easter, I want you to set up political education. I want you to come and show us. No, I don't need, but I want you to teach it to us just like I hear you talking that stuff when you be on them videos. I heard you, just don't cuss.
Right.
She said, just don't cuss. But I want you to explain it to us just like that. And I said, I'd be honored. And I'm going to come and I'm going to bring the people that can, you know, that can give it to you in the big, because there's some people that's going to be want to hear the big side of it too. And I got the people for that too. Okay? But we going to get this done because it's called Reach One, Teach One.
Amen.
It's Reach One, Teach One. And that's what it's all about, because I know if I didn't reach one person, I'm praying that one person I reach can reach 5 or 6 of them, and so on and so on and so on. Because like I said, I understand I can't do this by myself. I'm asking for help. Just like every time me and Angela got up and went down to them Senate office buildings 4 times a month, hand delivering letters to those senators, and we asked when we went to the House of Representatives and put one in all 435 of their goddamn hands. Okay, like we've been asking for the people's help for a long time, but like I said, when it makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Because see, we wasn't going down there with the cameras, and that's what a lot of people need to be in front of them all the time. They gotta be with the cameras. If it ain't cameras there, then they don't want to be there. Cause see, that's what makes me different. A lot of shit I do, cameras ain't involved.
Right.
A lot of shit I do, I don't even talk about it. I don't brag about it. When some low-life politician take my motherfucking credit for it or none of that. Because long as I know that God knows how it happened.
Right.
I used to be frustrated all the time, you know, because doing missing persons is like, it's very underrated. Until I start going into them goddamn stores and I start seeing those missing persons things coming up. Hey baby, coming up on Apple, coming up on the screen. You know what I'm saying? And where they have the horse race result, and I start seeing missing people, missing persons flash up across. I said,
Right.
now I'm breaking ground. When I had the pleasure of doing that HBO documentary. Okay, yeah, but now they hear me. Somebody heard, they might not have got it the way that it was put out there 3 years of filming, but they know I was there. Amen. And they know why this is going. They know why it's happening.
Amen.
I done did over 5 interviews nationally. I done been on national radio TV networks talking about crime, talking about how to make things better. I might not have took it to Turkey or took it this place or took it to another country, but I done did it right here. Mm-hmm. And people, if they need me, I'm there. I ain't got all the resources like everybody else. God supplies me. God and God's helpers supplies me everything that I need. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't get frustrated no more like I used to when I don't have certain things and this, that, and the third. I just know that if I'm supposed to be doing it, if I'm supposed to be executing this, God gonna provide. Amen.
And He does.
He's gonna provide a easy way. He's gonna give it to me on a silver platter. And I ain't gonna have to ask nobody for nothing. And I ain't gonna have to sacrifice nothing. My soul, I ain't gonna have to sell nothing. I ain't gonna have to swing off no poles, swing around no poles, or none of that. He gonna make it happen. Yeah. No, he know his kid. He know he's still working on me in spite, even in the midst of me doing me. He's still working on me, and he loves me anyway. He know he
Amen.
I know. But like he said, you gotta be a little tough. You can't be one of them type of women or people that fold under pressure, easily tempted, sell your soul to the highest bidder. No, he knew what he was doing when he handpicked me, baby. He was doing. He said she a little rough around the edges, but she loved her people and she loved me. So that's all. You know what I'm saying? The rest of it, I need to work it out.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. We all for food distribution this Sunday, y'all. So we won't be out in the community. And we will be back for the 4th Sunday. Tanya, when you come out, I know you busy. Like my co-host busy, y'all, all of the time. She is
the more I try to take stuff off my plate, the more it jumps on. It's like, look, I just got rid of something. I can't take nobody else. But look, we go. You know, I told you I'm here. So we do like we did today. You wake up with it on your soul. You want to talk about it? You holler at a sister. We'll make it work.
You know, like I count on you on Thursdays.
Okay,
because that's when you know.
And Thursday is a good day.
On Thursdays, because like I said, it's very important, you know, to get this information out here and to have proof. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, nah, y'all, we not just telling y'all this. We not finger pointing. We ain't trying to, you know,
it is
no bad.
Nope.
None of that.
Not pulling it out of the air. It is what it is.
It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust me, I feel sick to the stomach too, because some of these people at the very beginning of their little runs and leaving one thing and coming to another, I was right there to support them. So you can understand how I feel right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? You already know how I feel. And you know I'm going to do anything to make that shit right.
Right.
Because I got to, even for myself. Because I was fooled.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, all that we look at that kid, like, it took me a long time to get the all skin folk and kin folk shit together. Trust and believe me. That's why I say it so fluently now. Because I actually know that shit to be true.
Mm-hmm.
I actually know it to be true.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I'm getting ready to close this broadcast down and go and break this video down, honey, and go share it to my TikTok family. I had to, because they acting crazy on TikTok, I guess because it's ran by our Japanese brothers and sisters. They're trying to, yeah, they messing with them bad. And like I was telling people, TikTok is one of the only places that you're going to go and get the truth.
Yeah, because it's pretty much unfiltered.
It's unfiltered. You're going to go there and you want to get the truth. You're going to go there and you want to see the hearings that they had last week, the coronavirus hearings. You're going to hear the testimonies of them telling you how this shit came about and the lawyers sitting out there trying to lie. And you know what I'm saying? Act like they ain't know what was going on. You won't hear all of that. The incompetent shit that we all knew that was going on during that time. If any people would have took time out and listened, they would have took time out and went on and they would have saw it.
That's true.
Because they spoke about it. You know what I'm saying? That Jim Crow law.
Yep.
That nobody wants to talk about. That nobody, because everybody is so busy worrying about Sierra's dress and all of this other stuff. You know, you don't hear them a pin drop about that. We talked about that last week.
Mm-hmm.
And how did I even know that it was happening? Because they had a whole, not just people talking about it, they had the people themselves that was passing the goddamn law or trying to put the law into effect talking about it.
When I saw the video of the brother say, "Oh, you got the ad and they're hanging from the trees."
Okay.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how they took it down. And see, our people think that, hey, they doing it in Mississippi. That's a lie. That can start some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That can open up Pandora's box, y'all. And don't think because they just passing it in one state that they can't do it. That's just asinine to even think that.
And don't think they're not thinking about it in other states.
Don't think they're not thinking about it in other states, because they are. And then when we told y'all what it was motivated behind crime, that whole Jim Crow thing, what they call it, Jim Crow 2.0,
mm-hmm.
is motivated behind crime. And who commits the most crimes? Us.
And look. But you can't ignore the data. The data is what it is. My heartburn, again, I tell people, you got to look beyond that. I don't make excuses for crime. There is no excuse. I get it, though. When you're uneducated, when you're undereducated, when you can't get a job that's going to pay your bills, when you don't think anybody cares, when your social network does not exist, when there is no support system, when you get that letter in the mail saying you're going to get $20 in SNAP benefits, or you get that letter saying you better use your benefits before you lose them, but when you swipe that card, the card said there's nothing there. Desperation sets in.
Yeah.
And that's why I tell my people all the time, you have to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got one, and your mama got one, and your sister might have one, and your neighbor and your auntie and your cousin and your uncle got one. But if all of us take our one vote, we go into that ballot box and we start electing leaders who are focused on, passionate about, and care about the people, I believe the crime rate will go down because people will have
Yeah.
what they need to survive. There is more than enough for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to combat the greed, the selfishness, the arrogance, the egos, and the ignorance. We got to combat all of that and put the right people in the job who are going to do the right thing for everybody and not just for some.
For everybody. This has to work for everybody. This can't be a one-sided thing the way that it has been for a very long time. You know, I don't know. I know when we elect these people, they go in, you know, with telling, well, most of them be lies, and some of them go in, you know, with, you know, intending on doing, you know, some of them. But then I don't know where it gets lost at. It gets lost in there somewhere.
Right.
Oh, it gets lost in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know. I don't know where it gets, you know, where it gets lost at. I just don't know.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You know. Tanya, I love you very much. Thank you so much.
I love you right back.
For giving me some time.
Absolutely. You're welcome. And I know it's for a bigger purpose. So I don't mind at all. It's not robbery for me to do this, especially if it's going to help our community to understand what's going on and again make informed decisions about their lives. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. I appreciate you. And it's the what?
Yep.
16th?
Yep.
Girl, I've been all over the place, girl. I missed my sister's birthday and everything.
Oh.
Nah, seriously, like my mind has just been like, I don't know. It's like I've been actually yesterday I was 3 days behind. In my mind. No bullshit. I've been my mind, my day, I've been stuck on the 11th for 3 days. Well, 4 days. I have been stuck on the 11th up until yesterday. No bullshit.
Wow.
Stuck on the 11th, just right there, just thinking. Yesterday, I'm like, you know, I thought yesterday was the 12th. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, wow. I've been like 4 days behind.
Wow.
You know, thinking because just my mind just been all over the place and been just trying to deal with certain things and, you know, trying to figure certain shit out, you know.
And that happens when sometimes you can get shocked into paralysis. But you gotta shake yourself out, shake it off, and keep it moving.
Yeah, shake it off and keep it moving. That's where I'm at right now. You know, that's where I'm at right now, Tanya. But yeah, I thank you so much for giving me your time.
You're welcome, darling. Anytime. Anytime. I'm here. You let me know, and we can do it again. Look, I'll block some time off next Thursday. You let me know what you want to talk about.
Okay. You know, it's always something. I think I'm a try to be at this every day. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just 30 minutes, an hour. When I put information in, because that's what it be. It's like sometimes I couldn't. That's why I couldn't wait to Tuesdays, because it'd be like sometimes I'm waiting. I have to wait all the way to Tuesday to, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, to get this out. But now God has blessed me with my own, put my own thing together.
There you go.
You know,
So
Yeah.
you need to say it. You got no place to go. Just get up, walk down the hall, right?
Just walk on down. Literally, just walk down the hallway, okay? I ain't even got a cat. I mean, it just say money and everything, okay?
It is.
Getting in the, you know, and then shit, I can be looking ugly down the bottom, which I'm not. I'm just saying. All I gotta do is just be sitting here. All this, all you see.
You don't need to call the Uber, no nothing.
I ain't gotta call the Hoover. I've been sitting here. I done did 3 broadcasts with a roll in the back of my head. Okay,
Lord,
girl, gone now. That's what God said. He was gonna make it easy. He told me, can you just walk on down the hallway, girl?
There
Look,
it is.
sponge rolling right here, girl. I ain't look. Cause it ain't even about glamour and looking cute. Cause it's about getting, like, yeah.
There you go.
Getting this shit out here. Roll in the back. I'm sitting here. I'm like, what's this in the back? I forgot I got the roll in the back of my head, girl. That's okay. If people talk about something, I'm vain. Shit. Okay, I'm sitting up here with rollers in my head right now, y'all. Probably an hour coming off from crying. But what? Yeah. I'm gonna close out of this, Tanya. Call me.
Girl, I love you. I definitely will.
Bye, y'all. You gonna close out?
Look, y'all be good, stay safe, and we'll definitely see y'all in the coming days and weeks. And look, keep loving on my sister because she bringing the news, even with the roller in the back of her head.
With a roll in the back of my head, y'all, okay? In the privacy of my own home, y'all. I love y'all.
Y'all be good now.
Love, I don't know what it is, okay? Bye, y'all.